Hello. To those of you who are watching this video, this is a guide for the Grandmaster Combat Achievement, No Time for a Drink, where you cannot lose any prayer points for the entire fight cave. The main reason I am making this video is because there aren't really any guides on YouTube or anywhere else for this task. In addition, a lot of people like to think that this task is intimidating or it seems difficult, which is exactly why I want to show you a very easy method and how I was able to complete this task 3 times in a row. Also, as a side note, this is mainly to demonstrate and explain the method used, so please feel free to ignore any mistakes I made this run. Anyway, let's get into it. So before we get into the actual run, I will explain the gear choice and inventory setup, as well as some very important things to know before attempting this task. There will be timestamps in the description or along the video to easily skip to specific parts that you are looking for, and the full unedited run will also be in the description. Starting with the gear, I chose full crystal and Bofa, which I will essentially use for every NPC apart from the mages, which I will T-bow. I chose to bring a max cape, dragon bow necklace, ring of the gods, and devout boots over higher DPS gear in order to have a higher prayer bonus. As you can see, I have 37 prayer bonus, which I think provided more than enough of a cushion for prayer flicking, and realistically you could change the setup for more or less prayer bonus depending on how you want it. In the inventory, you will notice I have an arcane and a Kodai, which I bring for ice and blood barrage, with soul, blood, and death runes in the rune pouch. I try to heal wherever I can and play it safe, minimizing any rune usage. Similarly, I bring a blowpipe to spec with occasionally to heal, but also it can be used for any of the non-mages throughout the fight cave. Potion wise, I take 10 brews, 5 regular restores, 2 bastions, and 3 regular bastions. You could alternatively take 3 divines and 2 regular, which might have been better in my run, but it really isn't that important, and you could change up the potions however you like. The reason for the regular restores over super restores is that while you don't need a prayer anyway, regular restores are actually stronger than super restores. They restore drained combat stats by 39 when your base level is 99, whereas super restores only restore drained stats by 34 at level 99. I bring purple sweets because they are very helpful to have, as you can heal up to conserve brewing and pretty much have infinite HP if you really need it. The last thing to mention is the Astral and Earth runes, which I bring for Jet at the very end, where I will cape swap to Vengeance after tagging healers. If you are not maxed, you can wear a magic skill cape instead, which provides the same prayer bonus, or you can bring any cape of choice and bring a magic skill cape in separately. Alternatively, you could either scrap Venge altogether or scrap Ancients altogether. The last topic I will talk about before getting into the actual run are some very important things to prevent failing the task. First, your prayer. At any amount of prayer points, whether it's 70, 80, 95, or even 99, there is an invisible decimal that comes after it, which is basically fractions of a prayer point. As you can see, I am able to have Protect Magic on for a few seconds before it ticks down from 99 to 98. The amount of fractional prayer is attributed to your prayer bonus. It is suggested to pray Rapid Heal and let your prayer tick down 1 point beforehand to have the max amount of ticks available before your prayer drains again. In addition, as you cannot lose any prayer, you may not be hit by any of the bats at any point, as they drain 1 prayer point per hit even if they hit a 0. The next important tip, which will actually be used a lot, is pausing the waves and logging out. You are allowed to log out and log back in without the task failing. The benefit of this is that upon logging back in, you will be placed in the center of the fight caves with a few seconds to run around before the next wave starts. This will be utilized to position yourself for the next wave, allowing for the mage to be safe spotted in most cases. What you do not want to do is pause the waves and hop worlds. Hopping worlds will fail the task, but you will not see the fail message. I learned this the hard way on my first completion, which did not count. You must click the logout button and manually log back in. There are 15 rotations in the fight caves which have their own static spawns. These rotations are actually determined based off the in-game clock, located in the Friends or Clan Chat page in the top right. There is a Google Doc in the description which lays out at exactly what time you want to enter to get a specific rotation. In the 3 runs I did, I used rotation 2. This is because there is actually a rough image guide which shows you where you should stand at the start of each wave. I've linked this in the description as well, as I use it for almost every wave with the exception of a few, which I will point out. I was linked this guide by a friend of mine who told me the creator of it is a girl named Lily, so all credit to them. Getting into the actual run. The first 30 waves are very simple as there isn't much threat to dying. I will play some of the early waves sped up in the background to show it is pretty straightforward. I do not overhead flick any rangers or melees just because it is simply not needed and will ensure you won't lose a prayer point early. I start every wave in the northeast corner as there are no NPCs that will spawn there, and I try to kill the bats as quickly as possible. If there are specific waves before the mages that you have a problem with, the guide in the description has a solve for even the early waves. From wave 31 onward, you want to be aware of where to stand at the start of the next wave. On the image guide, this is indicated by a green dot. It is not very exact and mostly just to put you in a spot where the major is safe spotted. My strategy was to deal with the bats as soon as I could, clear the wave, and kill the major last. While the major is safe spotted, you will see I click the major and start one tick flicking before it actually hits me. I do this for just about every wave with the exception of 8 waves, which I will explain in depth. Also, you will notice on occasion, I will now be pausing the waves and logging out and back in at the start of the next wave. Relogging is used when you start a wave in the northeast corner and the next wave requires you to start in the northwest corner. You can optionally make your way to the next wave starting point without logging out, as I do in wave 36 going into 37, or play it safe like I do in wave 33 going into 34. There is nothing stopping you from relogging every wave either. The special waves. These waves are 31, 34, 35, 41, 46, 50, 56, and 61. I call them special because these are the only waves I start in a different position from what the image suggests. In addition, 7 of these 8 waves are the only time that the mage spawns in the middle of the cave, with wave 34 being the exception. Here is wave 41 as an example of how I start for one of these 8 waves. I log out beforehand in order to get to the northeast corner before the mage spawns. This gives me enough time to click the mage and start one tick flicking before it actually hits me. I will use this same method for each of these waves. Wave 34 is the only special wave where the mage does not spawn in the center. However, I start in the same location, that being the northeast. By doing so, I am able to one tick flick the mage in the same way as the other special waves. There are 2 special waves which have a bat, wave 35 and 50. If you start these waves in the same position that I do, northeast, the bat will be safe spotted and can be left alive to kill after the mage. In wave 35, the bat will be trapped behind the blob as it approaches you, and in wave 50, the bat is stuck on the opposite side of the wall where you are standing. Wave 62. The final wave before Jad is double mages. Upon relogging and running to the northeast corner, you should turn on auto retaliate. You will only need to click the first mage and start one tick flicking, as auto retaliate will pick up the second mage automatically. You can choose to relog before Jad, but starting northeast will already have it safe spotted. Finally, it's time to kill Jad. At this point, you will not be able to one-tick flick anymore, and you will have to be able to flick Jad's hits regularly. This can be a little scary as you do not want to lose a prayer point by doing it. Luckily, Jad's max hit is a 97, so if you sit above 97, you can alternatively tank hits every time. You will see how I do one attack for every attack I take. I feel as though the timing is a lot easier like this. My strategy here is to spawn the healers and tag them with barrage before they heal Jad to full, and kill them so they aren't in the way. At this point you can swap to Venge, and depending on how many brews you have left, you can just Venge damage Jad the rest of the way. This is mainly why I try to preserve brews throughout the run to have more of a safety net on Jad. I believe I covered everything that I do in this run. If there's something that I forgot or missed or misspoke on, please feel free to leave a comment. Just a reminder, all timestamps will be listed and the unedited run is also in the description. Again, the main reason I decided to make this video is because I wasn't looking forward to doing this task, but upon doing this method, I found it very easy and wanted to put a guide out there and share it with people who might be looking to do this task but couldn't find a guide for it. With that being said, feel free to follow me on Twitter @0clipper and on Twitch @clipper with 2 R's. I do stream sometimes. I appreciate it if you watched this far, and I hope this helped in some way.